So I feel like in door to door, a lot of people don't know what overcoming an objection actually looks like. So my promise to you is that in this video, I'm going to show you a proven strategy that's helped me set hundreds of appointments in multiple markets, as well as train other people who've never had sales experience before or very little to do the exact same thing as me. So this video shows me training one of my reps, and you're talking to a homeowner that's not against the idea of solar, but has never set an actual appointment to actually look at the information. And the main reason why I think that it was never set is because there wasn't enough, pain or at least value built within, solar for them to actually look at it. So in this video, I'm going to show you some of the ways that I built value, overcame some of the objections, and ultimately just was able to have a conversation with a homeowner to get them to the point where they actually wanted to look at the information. But let's get into the video.
What it is for you guys for no what energy program, as you never know what energy comes from the sun, the wind, or the rivers, right? The county, they don't want to put a big windmills in people's front yards, and you guys don't have a river in your backyard at all.
For what? Again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it's a renewable energy program. You guys don't have a river in your backyard producing energy at all?
No.
No. Okay, not yet. Okay, yeah. So what we've been doing instead is installing the batteries on the side of the homes and the solar panels on the top to charge the batteries. Have you looked into programs at all before? I had some
for like solar and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
a ton.
So you guys were like interested at some point, but
Okay, so the first thing I immediately noticed is he was like, have you ever looked into solar before? And then the guy's like, he answers, and then the rep immediately goes into kind of like continuing his pitch. So with that being said, this happens a lot. Maybe he was just nervous, but basically give the homeowner some time to answer. So, hey, have you ever looked into solar before? He's like, no, or yes, the homeowner. Then you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, you looked into it. So, obviously it's not on your roof. Like, what was the main reason you decided not to move forward with it? Oh, no, I haven't looked into it. Oh, you haven't looked into it before? Okay, so all this would do, sir, is this would just cut down exactly, this would cut down a bill you're already gonna have to pay. What's the main reason why you haven't, at least looked at the information? So we wanna, have the conversation go in a way to where we're understanding why they did go solar and why they didn't go solar, or why they looked at the information and didn't move forward, or why they haven't looked at the information yet. And if we can build enough value within solar as well as overcome the objection that's on the homeowner's mind, this will more than likely encourage the homeowner to re-look into the information again, or if they look into it, or decide to look into it if they've never looked into it before.
Yeah, at some point, but we just got we just bought this house over the summer, and we put a lot into renovating it, and so we're kind of on hold of just doing anything major or anything.
Take out a loan to do something.
Yeah, we don't want to is the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, if there was an option where you didn't have to take out a loan.
Okay, so this was actually very, very key. So this guy, he's not against the idea of solar, and I picked that up right away. I knew it would be an appointment if we could gear the conversation in the right direction. And all that comes down to is asking the right questions at the right time and saying the right things to make sure the homeowner truly understands what we are showing to these people. So with that being said, when the homeowner says we don't want to do anything major right now, a way I would overcome it, or a way I would take the conversation is just ask a question. I'm like, oh, when you say you don't want to do anything major right now, what do you mean by that? And then just stop talking. This is going to have the homeowner try to defend themselves, defend the reason. They're going to be like, oh, well, I need to X, Y, Z, or oh, we've just been putting money everywhere, or whatever it is. And if the homeowner's like, well, if he double down, it's well, we just don't want to do anything major to the home right now, not really giving you a clear answer, which happens a lot. Then what you have to do is you kind of have to answer for that person. So within my time with solar, there's a lot of reasons why people won't do it. And when he says do something major like that, some of the answers that I might give is oh, when you say you don't want to do anything major, does that mean spending money on things, or does that mean spending money or doing things you don't need to do? Or and then most of the time they'll, if you just pause it, if you say or, they'll be they'll agree with one of the things that you said, Or what will happen is they'll correct you and say the thing that they mean. When they're like, well, you know, I don't want anything done to the roof right now. Or, oh, well, we have, you know, these projects in our backyard. Or, oh, well, I just spent all this money, you know, renovating the home and we don't want to spend any more money. They might not say that exact thing, but they're going to say something like it. And it's your job now to figure out, okay, how can I make this make sense for them to still do in their current situation? And sometimes, like, I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't make sense sometimes for the homeowner, but most of the time it does. So let's continue watching the video.
Like you could get solar panels, it would be like something you'd want to do.
Something like that. I don't know. So is this through APS?
So we're working in conjunction with APS. We're an installation company.
Okay, this is important. So he says, the homeowner says, so is this through the utility company, whatever utility company you work for? And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to do one of two things. They're trying to justify a reason to back out of the conversation, because you can say, you're like, you know, they're trying to decide, they're trying to see if like this is like through the utility company and if they can just do this on their own without you. And so, or they're trying to get a little more trust to where, obviously if you did work for the utility company, you know, there would be a lot more trust built, but we don't. So, you know, him asking that is basically putting us in, you know, like a bucket that we don't want to be in. And I have the word track in the description, so if you want to click on the word track, like it'll have like everything that I say to overcome this and the framework behind it. Basically the same things I'm saying right now, but on like a PDF or like a Word document. So how I overcome this, at any point where they're like, oh, do you work for the utility company? I just let them know the company I work for. I'm like, so the company I work for, it's OWE. We still have to go through the utility company at the end of the day because they own the meter on the side of your home, right? Yeah, and so they still have to like approve everything. And at the end of everything that we do, after we do the install, the permitting, ultimately the utility company, they have to approve it, make sure everything's up to their code. And what that's doing is, in their mind, you know, it's basically saying like, hey, we work with the utility company to do this project, which is true. So it's building a lot more trust with this company that they do know, as well as with this company, our company, that they don't know. So, you know, you saying that the utility company, they have to approve everything, make sure everything's up to code. It's building a lot more trust in you when you're at the door of this person that they met 5 minutes ago, rather than maybe this utility company they've been paying for the past 5, 10, 20 years, however long it is. So that's how I would overcome it.
You still go through APS at the end of the day, they let you know the meter on the side of your home. So the difference between this program and the ones in the past you probably looked at, it's fully government funded. So as long as you and the home do qualify, that's really the only catch. Is if you guys qualify, all those loans, there's no loans, no debt, no down payment involved. The government, they're taking care of all that for you, the installation costs, the labor, equipment, utilities. As long as you guys qualify, like I said.
Right.
Not every home does. Typically only 6 out of 10 homes do in the area that we're kind of in. Okay. So like, yeah, that's kind of why we're out here, just seeing which homes do qualify. I'm not sure if you guys do.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, yeah. So.
But if you were to, essentially all that would happen, because you guys, have you gotten a summer bill here yet? You said you put renovation.
Yeah, we moved in May.
In May.
So we were here all summer.
What was like the highest bill you guys received?
So at first we were on the like the fixed rate, which our highest bill was like $289, and then we got a smart thermostat, which thankfully that I think it was like the August bill was the first time we had that, and it knocked it down to like $190. So like,
that's pretty bad.
That helped a ton. And that was also through APS. But yeah, no, I mean we're not like closed to solar at all. Like I don't like hate the idea of it. We just are like, especially after getting the smart thermostat, I was like, oh, I feel like that buys us some time because the old thermostat was just like you just set the temperature.
It was just
and that's it.
manual. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, manual. Yeah, and this one like we had like the schedule, so
this is very important. The homeowner literally just said he's not against the idea of solar. He just replaced his thermostat. He just did a different option besides solar to help save him money on his electric bill. So what I have to do is I have to build more value into solar or more pain within staying with the utility company. So if you're able to do that, you can essentially get him to reconsider the idea of at least like looking at the information. And if he finds it valuable enough or, you know, painful enough to not stay in his current situation, then he's gonna book an appointment. So right now I would say there's two different ways of doing that. It's number one, you know, going into the recent rate hikes, like, hey, your bills, you know, may have gone down $90, but in 3 to 5 years it'll be back to where it started based off of the past rate, you know, rate increases. More value to solar, like, hey, this would continue to decrease your bill, but more importantly, you'd be protected from the future rate increases. So we're doing it on both ends, where we're building pain with staying with the utility company with the rate increases, and we're building value by, you know, saving him money and locking in, you know, a rate, you know, locking in his rate, either his bill staying the same, you know, never going up, or it's being protected if you have the rate escalator. So we do the rate escalator, so I say, hey, your rate is protected for the rest of the time you end up living here. So if you can build value in both ways, you can essentially re-ask him for the appointment, and if he finds it, you know, valuable enough, then he'll book an appointment. If he doesn't, then, you know, you got to get better at one of those two things, or he's just not a buyer at the end of the day.
Pre-cool the house before 4 o'clock, and
I guess like one of the main, it's still gonna like be like solar would still save you money at the end of the day, maybe not as much because you're doing that. The other thing is, like you're saying, like you just renovated the home. The last thing you want to do is like maybe put money into something that's only going to save you like what, maybe like $10-20 a month. Like
right.
Like you can use that money elsewhere to pay off your car and have it, you know, save you even more money, right?
Yeah.
So
true.
The reason why people are even looking into this area, because if they can qualify for it, all the equipment, all the labor, all the installation costs, that's all covered for you guys. And all that would happen is, instead of you buying your energy from APS at those rates, you know, at your current rate,
Right.
if you flip it over, you get put onto a new rate where no matter when you do use your energy, it's always less than what you're currently doing right now. So I would assume, like, hey, because you have the smart thermostat, you won't be able to save as much, like, off your bill, but at least, like, you can use energy between 4 and 7. And
Right,
when you guys do live here, you know, 5, 10, 15 years, however long you do want to live here, you're not having to, your AC is going to last like the life cycle it should.
Right.
So all we've been doing is we've just been sitting down with a couple of the other, you know, new homeowners, just.
Okay, so this is very important. What I did there is I got on the same level as the homeowner. I know that whoever I send into the home, bro, they're using a smart thermostat. They're using energy, a lot of energy during the off-peak hours, very little during the on-peak. So they're not going to be able to save as much money. So if I go into building value into them saving like a lot of money right now, it's not going to close. Like, it's just not going to close. The expectations are going to be set wrong. They may like everything. You may like put it onto like the closer, like, hey, the closer should have done his job. But bro, if like the regular person is paying like 20 cents for their energy, and now then, you know, with a smart thermostat, they're paying like 15 cents. That cuts into like the amount of savings you can show them, to where they're not going to save a lot. So I make sure his expectations are set right. Like, hey, you're still going to save, you're still going to spend less money than what you're doing right now. But here are the other main reasons why people essentially go solar, which for you guys, like, they're outside of savings, there's a lot of other reasons why people will go solar. And so one of the things I tell him is like, you know, based off of what he's telling me, I know he doesn't use energy between 4 and 7. And if I had to live that way, it would be very, very annoying. So I'm like, hey, like, if you're able to do this, like, you're still going to be in a better situation because you're paying less, but also, guess what? You get to use energy whenever you want. And it doesn't show this in the video, but this guy has, you know, kids. He plans on having kids, and I'm like, dude, like, this solution is only going to work temporarily right now, because when you have kids, you can't control when they're going to use energy, right? Like, you literally can't. There's too many, you know, bodies in the home. So this is going to be a solution later down the term too, to where, you know, when your wife's cooking, when she's cleaning, when people are doing these things, you know, the kids get home, you get off work, you're not going to have to like sit and stare at a wall for like 3 hours before you do anything. You can use energy the way you want in your own home and still have it be less than what you're currently paying right now. So in the homeowner's mind, it's like clicking to them, like, oh, this could make sense, you know, not only now, but in the future when those things do happen. So that's the way you have to build these homes. And so when the closer comes into home, they know they don't have to show them as much savings, because they literally can't because he's not using a lot, but they can build a lot of value in the future and a lot of pain with the utility company and how they're living right now and how that's not like a good way to live for people. So, and this is the other thing, is after you explain all that to him, you have to make sure that the homeowner is certain that whoever comes back here and shows them like the information, the presentation, they're gonna show them exactly what you are saying at the door. And if those two things line up, it's gonna close majority of the time. So with that being said, if you can set your appointments to where the homeowner's expectations are set right, you build a lot of value into, you know, going solar, a lot of pain within the utility company, and you do that by having an actual conversation with them. Not just pitching them and hoping they book an appointment, with having an actual conversation with them at the door and overcoming their objections that has stopped them from moving forward in the past. If you're able to do that with even just 1 or 2 people a day, you're gonna have, you know, multiple deals close a week. And so I think that's the really big difference with a lot of the setters within door to door is they just want to set the appointment, which is fine. That definitely works in some markets. But when you get in saturated markets, and even with unsaturated markets, these make the leads a lot stickier, and the conversion rate is a lot higher. Cancellation rates are a lot lower because there's 2 different points where you're essentially setting expectations right on the door, and then when they come up in the home, they're met. Everything you said on the door is exactly what they showed them. You're not saying they're gonna save 50% on the bill and they're only saving $10 a month. So this is very important. After you do all that, then you just go into the transition. Literally, you're just asking them like, hey, if I could show you this information, is this something you'd wanna look at? And if they say no, that's fine. You did your job, you built a lot of value and pain. If they say yes, and the chances are they're gonna sit.
You know, showing them, hey, this is what your current situation is with APS right now. We're not allowed to come back unless we can save you money, because obviously we know that people aren't gonna pay for anything that costs more, right?
Right.
Anything that probably comes out of pocket or is gonna go into debt.
Yeah.
If we can show you those things, then we would come back here, answer any questions you have, and then at the end of the day, it's your home, your decision. We just would essentially show you that information, and then you could decide if this is something you even want to do or not. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me just make sure I have the right name on the home.
I'll tell you something. That guy did not sit down. He didn't sit. But let me tell you something else. There's even more that sat. Like outside of this guy, this is just one of the conversations I sat. It was a very good conversation. A lot of the appointments go over the same exact thing. And this is the difference, is like at the end of the day, yes, it sucked that he didn't sit, but I also don't care because I know the more conversations I have like this, where I'm able to overcome their objections, where I'm able to fully go through everything, make sure their expectations are set right, I know the conversion rate is gonna be a lot higher. So that's ultimately what I go for, is making sure that all their objections are answered at the door and making sure that, hey, we can show them something they actually want to see. And so the more that's able to happen, the more people are going to sit, the more people are going to close. And you know, you'll have some that don't sit or don't close, but that's fine. Like at the end of the day, that's just part of the game. The most successful people within sales, they get said no to the most because they have the most contacts. Even though I'm a really good setter, I get said no to at the door and in home more than a lot of people, because a lot of people don't even have the opportunity to get said no to. So that's the difference, is like, yes, even though he didn't sit, you know, I want to be transparent with my content. Is I have conversations like this to where, you know, I get calls from closer and they're being like, bro, that was such an easy set, which is amazing. Like, I did my job as a setter, so I want to train other people to do the exact same thing within this industry, but also within my team too. So that's the end of the video. I appreciate you guys for watching. In the description, there's gonna be Wordtracks. There's gonna be, you know, frameworks. Basically everything that I went over in this video, it's gonna be in the description. And a PDF, you can see, you can memorize the exact things I say, you know, have the same exact frameworks. Use it for your team, use it for yourself on the door. within each of those if you're in the Arizona market, or if you want to go on a blitz with me. Just shoot me a DM on Instagram, give me a follow. But appreciate your guys' time. Peace out.